Hey everybody, Chrissy here today for ThermOWeb, and I'm going to show you how to make this card. I made it for Valentine's Day, but honestly, it can work for any time of the year. You can give it to someone that you love. So I'm using the Glitz Glitter Gel. I'm speeding up this video kind of fast, so I'm using my Pixie spray. Pixie spray is fantastic because you just spray it on the back of a stencil, let it dry for, I don't know, maybe like 30 to 45 seconds. It's pretty quick. It becomes tacky. And then you can just drop it on top of the cardstock or whatever you're stenciling, any mixed media, whatever you're using, and it just secures it in place. So, of course, you can always use your purple tape because I love using my purple tape too, but the Pixie spray is fantastic because it also washes off really easy with either soap and water, or you can use like some hand sanitizer and that will wash it off as well. So now I am using two different Glitz glitter gels here. I'm using the BUBBLEGUM and then I'm going to use the gold. So initially I'm using a palette knife just for the simple fact that I kind of want to like glop it on there and I don't really care about it being smooth. Then at the very end I'll come in with my stencil pal and I'll smooth everything out. Just when I was first dropping the color and stuff on there, I didn't care. So here you can see I'm going to use my stencil pal to make everything nice and smooth and clean. And I just wiped it off on that piece of the paper towel and it cleans off super easy. So now I'm going to set this aside to let it dry. It's nice and sparkly. And I kind of had, by using that stencil pal, the gold kind of like blended into the bubblegum color. So that finished product is really nice because I have a little bit of gold laying on top of the pink and it's like extra shimmery. So once it was completely dry, I'd say I let it dry for about 35 to 40 minutes. I'm sure it depends on humidity and everything like that in your area. I just came in with some ink and I added some colors around the edges. I just grabbed an ink from my stash because I wanted it to match, so I thought this color matched really nicely. And now I'm going to stamp a sentiment on there. This is from Avery, Elle, so it just says love you. And I'm just using some Gina K Black Onyx ink to go ahead and get that on there. I'm using my Misty stamping tool just because I wasn't sure if this stamp is very thin. I wasn't sure if it was going to cover properly. So you can see I ended up actually stamping it 3 times to get the coverage that I was looking for. So I was glad I used my Misty. So then since I was on a roll with my Misty, I grabbed this stamp set from Clair. This is called Hugs and Smiles, and it's got this really pretty like flower rosy thing in the corner. So I used some ink on 3. This is like the fade out ink. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically you can watercolor. And it's kind of like no line watercoloring, but as you watercolor, some of it kind of pops out, some of it kind of fades away. So I am just using, I stamped it on watercolor cardstock. And I should mention too that when I used the Glitz Glitter Gel, I used it on the Gina K Premium White cardstock. So this is watercolor cardstock, and I'm just going in with a water brush and coloring in with some of the same color inks that I used around the edges. And then I have a few other coordinating inks that go with it. I have like a darker red, and then I have some yellow for the centers. I just sped this up kind of quick just so you can see my process of then watercoloring. I like this particular stamp because it's really drawn loosely. It was created loosely, so I can watercolor really loosely too. And there's really no wrong way to do it. Even if I kind of go out of the lines and stuff, it doesn't matter because it's such a loose image that the watercoloring to me just kind of suits it with that kind of like same loose technique or style. So I just watercolored everything with a water brush. You can use a regular paintbrush along with some water if you need to, if you don't have a water brush. And now I'm just going in kind of with the finishing touches. I added a little bit of like an aqua color in there and let it dry. So then I just trimmed it out because I knew I was going to put it on top of that amazing glitter paste that we just put on there, that Glitz Glitter Gel. So here I'm just kind of cutting it out. So I am going to leave it a little bit oversized, and then I'll use my Memory XL runner here to adhere it to the front, and then I'll just come in and I'll trim off the excess. That way I know I have a nice clean edge. Otherwise I'm kind of bad at like lining stuff up. So then this way I know it's nice and clean and I don't have anything kind of jagged or uneven that I have to keep pulling it off and putting it back on and pulling it off and putting it back on. Because the XL runner, it does adhere really well, so I might have a problem pulling it off. So I just completed everything using some 3D foam squares, and you can see this is the finished card. I made a coordinating envelope. I showed it really quick too. I just did the exact same technique I did on the card. So thanks so much for stopping by today. I hope you have a great day.